Okay, I want to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Yes. Public comment and recognition of guests. And we do not have any official public comment, but we have a few guests in the audience tonight, and they will be our first thing under presentations, FFA officers.
Hello, everyone. They are handing out a couple of different things from this past year for everyone and an invite for an upcoming event this fall with our Alumni Trivia Night. I'm Jacqueline Meisner. I am the Ag teacher and FFA advisor here at Blue Ridge High School for those that I have not had a chance to get to chat with recently. I am finishing up my 8th year here as the Ag teacher, but I'm also finishing up my 10th year here because I started 2 years prior as the color guard director. So I've really enjoyed being here apparently since I'm sticking around, it seems. This year we've had a lot of really great successes, and now I have my officer team here that will be talking about a lot of the different things that we have done. 2 things I definitely want to kind of highlight as their advisor is we do have some honors with our students. One of our members that's standing behind me is going to be getting her state degree this summer. It is a very high prestigious award. We have had several students in the past that have gotten it, and so we're continuing that, I guess, traditions, it's so to speak. So Cadence Wooten, who I'll introduce here in a second as well, she'll be getting that this summer, which is super exciting. And then we have 2 students that have earned the highest degree that a student can get, which is the American degree. And Caleb Souther and Gracie Schaefer will be getting those in October. They're also going to be our first students that will have earned all 5 of the FFA degrees possible. Students can start earning these awards as early as 8th grade here at Blue Ridge, since we do offer agriculture classes to those individuals, and they are part of our FFA chapter since Illinois is an affiliate. So every student that takes an ag class has the opportunities that FFA has to offer to them free of charge, basically. Because Illinois Department of Ag pays for all their dues. And then we have some really great donations and some individuals in our community, plus with our different fundraisers to help lower costs for a lot of our students as well. But they can start with the Discovery degree. As freshmen, they earn their Green Hand degree. As sophomores, their chapter, and then juniors, seniors can earn their state and then on to American. In order to earn these awards, they have to do different things in FFA. They have to have community service. They have to have certain grade point average, along with their record books that they keep within an agriculture component. And that can range as far as keeping goats to working at Cornelio Ag. So it's really exciting, and we're really excited for them for earning these honors and this recognition. But I'm going to turn over to the officers because they have some really cool things to talk about.
Hello, everyone. I know that I may be a new face to some of you guys because you guys are a new face to me, but my name is Cadence Wooten, and I'm currently a junior at DeLand Walden High School, and I have the honor of serving our officer team this next year as our president, as well as our Section 16 office as our president as well. We truly appreciate all of your guys' support for our chapter, and in front of you, you have your year in review, a save the date for our alumni trivia, and an update on our plot. I'm so excited because our whole officer team is here tonight, and this is our 2nd year in a row that we have an all-female officer team, so they will be introducing themselves and saying a little bit of what they enjoyed throughout the year and an update on what we did. One thing that I wanted to highlight this time was our chapter visits. We had the opportunity to have a national officer, who was Gracie Schaefer, who was our Eastern Region Vice President, come out here and do a workshop. Great, what?
Gracie Murphy.
Yeah, what did I say?
Schaefer.
Oh. Well, wrong Gracie, Murphy. She was our Eastern Region Vice President, and she served with one of our past FFA members, Jayton Schaefer. There's where the names got mixed up. She was also our state secretary in 2021 and 2022. She did a whole workshop with all of our students and helped us learn a little bit more about how to be better leaders and grow as individuals. We also had our major state treasurer for this year, Ben Bremer, who came in and did a workshop with our Green Hands and our intro kids, as well as he bring down our officers to help run the thing. I just wanted to explain what FFA is to me, just to give you guys a little bit more of a personal insight. FFA throughout the year has been kind of crazy. I never thought that I'd be standing where I am now. Freshman year me was like, okay, I get to go over to Blue Ridge, skip a little bit of class from D-Land, get to see some new faces, and it turned out to something that I have a great passion for, and I'm very thankful for all of you for making that possible. And I want to introduce the person right behind me, who is my Vice President for the year, Rachel Light.
Hello, I am Rachel Light. I am the current vice president of our chapter. I have been involved in a lot of FFA activities this past year. I am currently a junior at the high school, and one of my favorite events in FFA this past year was our Ag Mechanics CDE. So a little bit about our CDEs and LDEs. CDEs represent career development events, which are focused on agriculture careers. They're contest focused on that. And then LDEs are leadership development events that focus on competitions with personal growth and development. We have had 18 section CDEs and LDEs that we've competed in this past year. Some of those include ag education, which involves a student that creates and presents a lesson to be judged by other students and teachers. And Presley Hardesty competed in that and got 10th in the state. Conduct of chapter meetings, which includes opening and closing ceremonies and running a meeting properly. And our team got 6th overall in the state this past year. Parliamentary procedure, which is running a meeting properly, got 8th in the state this past year with Lily 3rd in the state as chair. And Ag Mechanics, which has 5 sections, including electricity, carpentry, small engines, and surveying and welding, which got 17th in the state this last year, and Lily got 8th in the state in carpentry. Now I'm going to introduce Lillian Enger with our NCA.
I'm Lillian Enger, and I'm currently serving as the chapter reporter, and I'm a junior here at Blue Ridge. My favorite event of the year was the Premier Chapter trip, which was a trip we took to DC, and I went with Rachel and the Illinois Farm Bureau. We earned our seats on this trip through the National Chapter Award application. In Illinois, there are 389 FFA chapters, and we all have the opportunity to fill out the National Chapter Award, which is an application that showcases all of the events we put on throughout the year. We were scored this past week as top 10% in the state, which means we advanced to nationals this summer. And we were also named as the Section 16 winner in our Growing Leaders Committee, which is one of our 3 committees which put on events. And then we were also named as the Section 16 Premier Chapter, which means we are the top chapter in our section. In October, we had 2 representatives walk across the national convention stage to be recognized as a 3-star chapter, which is how we placed at nationals last year. And that is the highest rating that a chapter can earn in national FFA. We hope to continue this tradition with this summer's judging, and this was the 4th year in a row as a 3-star chapter and the 5th year in a row as a national finalist in the state. I would now like to introduce Lori Weiss, our chapter secretary.
Hi, I'm Lori Weiss, and I'm currently a junior. I'm going to be serving as this year's chapter secretary. My favorite FFA memory was probably getting to go to FFA leadership camp a couple summers ago. I'm going to be talking a little bit about our different FFA committees that we have. So we have 3 different committees that focus on different areas of our NCA, and those are Growing Leaders, Building Communities, and Strengthening Ag committees. Some things that our committees planned this year were the Interview Blitz, where members got to work with people in the community, developing their personal interviewing skills and strengthening those skills. We also had Punch In Local, which provided incentive for people in the community to shop locally by filling out a punch card, and once they got that card filled out, they could enter it into a gift card drawing. And then we also had the College and Career Fair, where students got to go to 2 20-minute sessions of their choosing to explore different careers that they were interested in. And then we also had our FFA barnyard with several different animals this year. I think that's all I have, so I'm going to turn it over to Presley.
Hi, I'm Presley Hardesty. I'm a sophomore here at the high school, and I'm going to be serving as our chapter treasurer in this upcoming year. So one of my favorite memories or experiences, I guess, is just getting close with all of our members and my fellow officers this past year. I feel like I created a lot of new friendships this past year, just getting to know more of the members better. And I'm going to be talking about some of our classes we had this past year. So one of those is BSAA, which we talk about biology and like agriculture. And then our Intro to Ag, which we talk about a little bit of everything in agriculture. And then Ag Communications, and leadership, which you just learn better leadership skills and better communication skills and for your further like life choices. And then in horticulture, we learn more floral designs and techniques that we can use in like landscapes and vases and many more things. So I'm going to turn it over to Carmen Ellis.
Hello, my name is Carmen Ellis, and I'm a sophomore here at Blue Ridge High School and will be serving as the Blue Ridge FFA Chapter Sentinel for the upcoming year. I am going to be talking about our upcoming events that we will be having in the summer. And I'm going to start off with Heritage Days from May 30th to June 2nd. We will be picking up trash, providing ice, and selling water for our chapter alumni, which also is an opportunity for our members to gain community service hours. From June 10th through 13th, we will be sending 13 members to Illinois FFA State Convention. 2 of our members, including one of them being myself and the other being Mercedes Manuel, will be participating in the State FFA Band. Cadence Wooten will be receiving her state degree and will be inducted as the section president. We will also be receiving awards, including being the top 10% in our state for Premier Chapter, which Lily already talked about. Later in June, Ava Paulin will be going to Washington, D.C. for the Premier Chapter Tour, which will be from June 24th through June 27th. This is based on our NCA from the last year, and we were a national finalist. We will be sending 5 members to leadership camp in July. Personally, this was my favorite event that I have been to because of all of the friends that I've made and leadership skills that I have gained from this. And this year we will be sending 5 members to camp. 2 of our members received a scholarship from our chapter. One of them was from being Star Greenhand, and the other was from our leadership award, which was handed out at banquet. We will also be, 2 members also received a scholarship from our chapter alumni, and 1 member received a scholarship from Illinois FFA. Cadence will also be attending as our section president. Our officer retreat will be in July, and as section president, Cadence has the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for Corn Congress, and will be traveling a lot over the summer. Our Market on the Square will start every Thursday, starting on July 11th from 5 to 7 p.m. In August, we have Mansfield Homecoming, where the officers will be doing the kids' games. And I will now like to welcome Ava Paulin to talk about the plot.
Hello everyone, my name is Ava Paulin. I am currently a sophomore here at the high school, and then this upcoming year I'm serving as our chapter historian and as one of our 3 plot managers alongside Gavin Friel and Drake Hardesty. And being a plot manager has been one of my favorite experiences with the FFA because I'm able to work with local farmers in the area but also local businesses. So this past year we partnered up with Nutrient and Pioneer, testing different fertilizers on our cornfield. We sold the grain in the fall to Lotus Elevator. These proceeds will go towards the chapter, supporting the FFA chapter with conferences, conventions, workshops, and other events. This upcoming spring, though, we are testing different micronutrients on our soybeans with Heron. So thank you.
So that's just a little bit about our FFA chapter. We currently have 89 students enrolled in agriculture courses, or in our FFA, and 82 enrolled in agriculture courses from 8th grade to 12th grade, which is quite a handful some days to wrangle them all. But thank you so much for allowing us to come out tonight and talk about our organization and be able to present what we've done over the past year. We truly appreciate the support. I know many other schools do not, and chapters do not receive the support that we do, and sometimes we take it for granted, and we have to remind ourselves that we are very fortunate for what we have, because we would not be able to do what we do without the support that we are given from you guys in our community. Thank you.
Nice job, ladies. Very nice.
Before you guys walk out, I just wanted to acknowledge what a bright spot the Blue Ridge FFA chapter really is. It's truly at the top of our district. It's very well known. Everything that you guys do when you present yourself in public, it is noticed how well you handle your thing or yourselves in public. And I definitely want to thank Ms. Meisner for what she has done for this program and how it has grown, because like I said, it is a feather in our cap for Blue Ridge. Okay, next we have communication. In your packet was the IASB liaison talking points. The focus of it really was the things coming up for the III, even though that's not till November. Registration for that is coming up. It talked about scholarships if there were districts that needed those to happen for people to be able to attend to go. I don't think there's really a lot else for me to say about it unless someone has a question. Up next is committee reports.
No committee reports this month.
And then administrative reports.
On my report, I included our update with Crisis Go. That's our new emergency app. We are not quite moved over to Crisis Go fully yet, but we have been working very hard on that. We trained the certified staff on our recent school improvement day, and we have scheduled times to meet with cooks and drivers and O&M staff to get them trained as well, with the goal of having the app as ready to go as possible before the end of this school year, so it's not something brand new when we come back in August, but we will continue training then as well. Christy has been working very hard on our boilerplate app that we're working on, and that's a matter of getting our onboarding and application piece online, getting up into the current century. And she has already given that out to multiple candidates for the next school year. Along with that means that anybody starting in the district after 7/1 of this year, they will have a digital personnel file instead of a paper personnel file. That's a big deal, that transition, so we're working on that now. And I've attended quite a few things. Mr. Payton attended with me a couple law workshops where you get a lot of information. Have to process that without time to really read all the packets that they give you. So that'll take a couple hours to get that all up to date and then to pass it out to administrators. And I've spent a good amount of time with CICEO recently, our Central Illinois Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities. We had a trade show recently. SIG came to that and got to see what our students were producing. And then I was able to do exit interviews with two of our two Blue Ridge students who are in CEO and two other students as well. So that's been very rewarding at the end of the school year.
Do I hold it, or? I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be hard to follow up the FFA. A lot of awesome accomplishments, so very, very nice job, Ms. Meisner. I'm just going to focus on a couple of things this evening. Let me pull up my document here real quick. The first one that I'm going to just talk about real quickly is we were able to do our kindergarten tours, if you guys noticed or not, but we do those annually. So we sign up during kindergarten registration when we do that in March, and then we had about 4 different families that came this year, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. Usually the families that come are the families that just aren't a part of the pre-K program, and so want to learn more about the building, learn more about just the kindergarten day, a little more about the schedule and so on. So it's a great way to kind of transition and hopefully relieve some anxiety from some of our new families and students that are coming into the district. And then the other things I was going to touch on real quickly, we had an awesome collab, and I don't know if I'm going to steal the thunder of Mr. Easter, but I know that he had sent an awesome good memo that was attached to the board report and so on. But Mr. Tungate and then Ms. Nadrozny in 2nd grade were able to do a really cool birdhouse collaboration where our students were able to come over here and work with some of those high school helpers, and just it's really a great experience from all those involved. Our younger students get to experience some new and hands-on learning, while our older students get to do some teaching and kind of share and be good mentors and role models. So really fun project that went on. And let's see, what else do we have here? Parent night. So we had parent education night last month. It was really cool. The pre-K team was able to put together a survey to look at what kind of topics that parents were wanting to learn more about, and it was actually building resiliency in their students. And so really valuable topic, something that all of our kids and even adults can benefit from. And so we had about 5 different families that were able to attend, and it's just great that we have parents that are wanting to be a part of those processes, and we'll continue to find ways to get more parents involved moving forward. So that's our goal. I will throw another shameless plug in there too for pre-K screenings for anybody out there. So we'll do our July screenings. It keeps getting earlier and earlier, it seems like, with the start date moving up, but we have pre-K screenings July 25th and 26th. So if you're out there and listening, anybody, please call the office and we'll set those times up.
Just want to share with the board this is the exciting time of the year where we've got some culminating events that happen as we kind of hit the home stretch. First and foremost, our junior high track team is, our boys track team is still in the mix. They're competing. We wrapped up sectionals this last weekend, but we're only able to advance 4 of our 8th grade athletes, but they are well represented. For example, Chase Ellis will be competing in the 100, 200, and high jump, along with being a member of the 4x100 meter relay team that won the state, got first place in state last year. Wyatt Laidley is going to be also in that relay team and representing us in the long jump. Landon Mattingly is another member of that relay team, but also participating in the discus. And Braden Hollowell, who's our 7th grade 400 meter record holder last year, will be running the 400 meter dash again as an 8th grader, and is also a part of that 4x100 meter relay team that I believe is going into state ranked first in the 1A. So we're pretty excited about, and we have our, we're second. Okay, we were first going into sectionals. We were first going into sectionals. Forgive me. Our assistant coach here. Thank you for the clarification. We're going to be, originally we had our spring academic achievement assembly scheduled for the 13th. We might need to adjust that schedule due to just the completion of our iReady spring diagnostics might not be ready yet, and so we're going to have to kind of play that by ear a little bit, but we will be holding them regardless at some point for both doing a intermediate assembly for our 4, 5, and 6 classrooms, and then also for our 7 and 8, but that's where we're going to feature students that have 95% attendance or higher, students that are making their growth goals from the iReady diagnostic that they've taken this year, and then on the junior high side, celebrating those students that are on the honor roll. A couple more things quickly here. This Friday, in the afternoon, our gym will be set up in a really cool horseshoe of 10 tables. Our 2 8th grade teachers, Mrs. Eshelman and Ms. Kennel, are collaborating with our local 4-H organization to do a real-world simulation. They're going to have done some pre-work about deciding on careers, looking at a little bit of, I think, what you might have experienced today, but maybe on not such a intricate level, and then figuring out salaries. But then the tables will be, they're bringing in a bunch of people from the community to talk to the students about, okay, here's your salary now, what about your insurance, what about rental or buying, properties, and really kind of helping them understand how important it is to budget across all these expenses that when you become an adult. And last but certainly not least, we will be having our promotion ceremony for our 8th graders on the 21st of May at 9 o'clock. That morning, the parents will have served our students a nice breakfast to kind of celebrate that moment. The day before that, on Monday the 20th, the Student Council is going to have a special event to help also celebrate that promotion with a DJ and a food truck by Two Reds Barbecue. So we're excited this time of year as everything's kind of wrapping up, and it gives us some time to celebrate. Any questions? Okay.
Yeah, usually I step up here and say that Mr. Payton and Mr. Huddleston stole a lot of what I was going to talk about, but tonight it was the FFA that took my thunder. I was going to talk about some of their accomplishments recently. But because I was just going down, it wasn't too long ago that we had a board meeting, and so I was thinking about what's happened since then, and it's been a whole lot of honor ceremonies and receptions and banquets and things like that. FFA banquet was at the end of April. Lots of kids recognized there and some great stuff. A very unique event in that we had no seniors. But as Ms. Meisner said that night, next year's senior slideshow is going to be a doozy. And she is not kidding on that one, because there's some kids that have really poured a lot of time and energy into that. And it's going to be tough to see them go. Last week, I went to the Bloomington Area Career Center Awards ceremony because we had some students there being recognized. There's over 700 students in that program from a bunch of different local schools. And we had a student, Josh Berkler, was recognized as the Fire Science Student of the Month, or Student of the Year, sorry, in the Fire Science class. And Kayla Cole was recognized as Student of the Year in Culinary Arts as well. And she also received a scholarship that they give away to their Culinary Arts top students. So that was really awesome. And then we had our honors night here, lots of recognitions, lots of awards, lots of scholarships. New format this year that we tried, if you were there or if you weren't there. It used to be split, where there'd be some school awards and recognitions at the beginning and then kind of an intermission, and then we do all the scholarships after that. But we realized that everybody left at intermission, so we intermingled everything and didn't have the intermission this year. And it was really nice because then everybody got to see the scholarship presentations and all that. So that was a really nice change that we made there. Tonight we just had the Tech Prep Awards, recognized our 9 Tech Prep students for their work in that program this year. And let's see, next week, before we get to next week, we've got, Promenade is this weekend, Saturday at 5 o'clock here in the gym. Is Rusty still here? I won't say what the temperature will be in the gym because he told me not to make any promises. But we've got that at 5 o'clock. And then prom is going to be at the Country Club here in town from 8 to 11. And post-prom is 11 to 2. I know this morning a plea went out for more chaperones at post-prom. So if anybody wants to stay up till 2 a.m. here at the high school, let Mrs. Legel know ASAP, please. And then let's see. Next week, Monday night, we have our Thespian Awards recognition here at 7 o'clock. Thursday night is the band culminating Pops concert and end of the year awards. And then Sunday's graduation. So we are rocking and rolling and getting through everything. So that's what we have going on in past and present and future. Any questions? Okay. Oh, yes, thank you. Playing the role of Chelsea tonight, say again?
Well, yeah, hold on. In that case, let me think of something really good for you. No, I was just going to ask, how many more volunteers do they need for chaperones? Because I knew it was a lot.
Yeah, I know as of yesterday, they had 4 signed up, and Mrs. Legel said they needed close to 20. I didn't get a total for where they were at the end of the day, but yeah. So if you get a band of 10, I think we'd be solid.
Just thinking anybody that's listening.
Yeah, anybody listening, Chris, I know you're out there.
Come in and help out.
Come help
get
out.
Get a hold of somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, thanks.
Sig, were you going to volunteer? I mean, you're...
Volunteer my wife, but I don't know if that's cool, so let's just do it like that.
Along with you, right? That'd be 2 people. True.
Can I add something about finance? Yep. I just wanted to add, Kara Wallace just sent me a message and said they have been working feverishly and even over the weekend and into the evenings trying to get some of their reports to you. They weren't able to bring you something tonight. They're going to continue to work and we'll get that to you as soon as possible. We're still working on new formats of reports with the migration to Q. So we're going to be more efficient someday, but we're not quite there yet.
And then you have the other reports in your board packet. Up next, we have approval of consent items. And if no one has any comments or concerns on those, I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items listed on attachment A as presented. Jason and Zig.
Yes.
Yes. Up next is old business, consideration of bus aid proposal.
Okay, so as a reminder from last month, this is a carryover item. We had been talking for a few months about behaviors from students on buses and how we were addressing that. Let's see, principals, when that is brought to their attention, they take care of that discipline after the fact. Deborah also does continuous behavior management training with her current driver. She meets with them on a regular basis, as well as the aides. So last month we talked about some other possibilities for the board's consideration. One possibility would be adding an additional driver, if one could be found. That would mean that we would have another bus going out on the routes on a daily basis. In other words, smaller numbers on there, hopefully better student management. Another idea would be to consider hiring additional regular bus aides. The aides that we do have right now are specified to one student, so if there is something going on the back of the bus that can't be taken care of by the aide that's assigned to a student because they have to stay up front with that student. So adding regular aides on the bus could potentially eliminate some of the ongoing situations because they could be addressed in a much more timely fashion. But again, I want to say, just because if you would agree that we could post for additional aid positions, it has no connection to whether we could actually find them and hire them. So we have a couple sample action items for you there if you'd like to move forward with trying to have us post and see if we could bring anybody else in to help the transportation department.
Question. I wasn't sure, what age bracket are most of the kids in that are causing the problems, or does it run the gamut?
You'll see we have a lot of high schoolers who don't ride a bus because they're taking their own transportation. I would say probably the majority is the middle grades. Yeah, Bert's the problem child. Yeah. It's just, yeah, right. Yeah, they'll have some at Snyder. It's more of an unusual thing at Snyder, but it's a little bit more common, unfortunately, at the 4 through 8. Kind of goes with the age, testing the waters.
Thanks. Just checking.
Yeah.
I figured if the kids that were disrupting things were all in 8th grade, then maybe we could table it for another year because they're going to be going into high school and they're not going to be riding a bus anyways. But
yeah.
Are there any other thoughts on the best way to approach this, or if we wanted to try for another driver, or if we want to try for bus aides? I don't know what's more realistic that we could hire for.
Is it possible, I mean, should we be looking for the driver anyways, as well as bus aides, and we get who we get? Or by throwing the net a little bit wider, maybe we pick up somebody that we're looking for?
I believe we always have part-time positions that are listed on there, like sub-drivers, sub-aides, so we're always looking for someone. Mm-hmm. Deborah had signed up to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce, what was that called? Business Expo, but we didn't have enough people interested in that, so that was canceled or kind of postponed maybe until the fall. So she's out there looking all the time. We're always looking for drivers, you know. She has reason to believe that maybe not all will come back next year, so she's constantly looking for that. We could, again, table this and think through it some more. I don't know if there's any other information you want. I feel like it's just a matter of deciding where do we want to kind of throw that net out and see what we can get.
It is a full-time bus driver that we would post for, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
if we went with this action, yes.
Are those still hard to find?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
how much additional expense would it be for running a separate bus route, or would it be about the same? You know, because
Running a separate bus route, you're going to have
Yeah.
all the gas, all the fuel.
just in,
extra
so
driver.
Right now we run, 5 regularly, and it'd just be 6.
I believe so, yeah.
Mhm.
And right now, when somebody's absent, we're combining and using our buses very heavily. It would be nice to be able to spread out a little bit more, but I could see it going to the configuration we have right now often with somebody being out. So I don't think there's a right answer. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think it's a matter of, do you want to take a step and try something? And if you do, you know, you really have two choices. I think if we had if we have those sub positions that are still posted, if somebody said they were interested, I could come back to you and say, looks like we have somebody. Do you want to consider that being a full-time position instead of just a sub position? So in other words, if you said, let's just go for the aide position right now and decide how many you want. If we got somebody that came in as a sub driver, I would come back to you and say, do you want to reconsider and make that into a regular position? We could do that. We could be out there just looking for an aide right now. So, but summertime is kind of a good time to know what we're looking for. They could. The more consistent you are on a bus, the better relationship you have with the kids, the better you're able to control the behaviors on the bus. But yes, they could go from bus to bus based on need.
I think we should start with at least one bus aide. If the sub driver pool, if we can find, like you were saying, somebody else can start driving full time, grab them.
Okay.
I'm in favor of that, and maybe kind of make it, I don't know how quietly or openly you can say that the full-time, or you could become a full-time bus driver if you're interested, but kind of throw that feeler out there too and have both options. Yeah.
Make that change too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Kenna? Yes. All right. So do we want to say up to however many regular bus aide positions in the motion? If we had to, do we only want to authorize one, or would we rather say up to 2 if we could get 2 people that were willing to do that, or?
I'd rather not go past 2 initially. I feel like this is almost a pilot program, and we're just trying it out. I'm a little curious if we're going to get anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
And if you get a part-time bus driver, some applicant for a bus driving position that you can take advantage of that, then that might be a good route to go. So I'd start with the aide and then keep it open. And if a good candidate comes in as a driver, then maybe, I don't know if we need to keep the aide in the future, or we let the aide go and we, make the load a little lighter for the bus drivers. But I think it just gives us more options. And we're moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I need a motion and a second to approve up to 2 regular bus aide positions for the 2024-2025 school year to provide partial coverage on bus routes for Blue Ridge CUSD number 18 as presented. Jonathan? Kenna?
Yes.
Yes. Up next is consideration for acoustic project at BRI JHS.
Okay, so where we are right now, Scott Wachter from IGW has met with a couple companies that he works with on projects similar to this, and then he's also talked to Jeff from Picture Perfect, and they're in agreement with the hanging baffles and the wall panels. The carpet on the below the bleachers is off the table right now. Scott didn't feel like that was a proper way to go. Just in tonight, you have a piece of paper in front of you from Picture Perfect that shows prices for hanging acoustic baffles, the wall panels, some of the installation pieces. The people that Scott Wachter got quotes from are not able to do installation, but I don't have individual prices from Scott yet. He was not able to get that back. So we're still kind of waiting to get all the information. But Rusty, this might be a good question for you. The installation amount listed on here, labor to install the panels and the baffles would be about $4,500. And that's all based upon having a boom lift, to safely mount the panels above the bleachers. So I
Yeah,
don't know if our lift there,
So our lift isn't a boom lift, it's just a scissor lift. When I looked at that this afternoon when we got that in, my only fear is somebody outside of the district, a non-employee, using our lift for one, because that's part of that labor quote is using our lift.
Yep.
And then additional boom lift to reach out over. I'm a little fearful of people getting on our lift, just, I think they probably should adjust that and put their own price for a lift in there, that way it's on them. But yeah, the boom lift we do not have, so that will be extra on top of that, but.
okay. Do you have any kind of ballpark figure on getting one of those to us? And
On like a boom lift? Well, the other fear of boom lift is weight, so boom lifts weigh way more than a scissor lift. Our floors are floating, so once you compress them down, you can break that layer underneath, and then they don't bounce a basketball, and it'll be dead at that point. So that's something else we're gonna have to watch out for, and that's something that Scott's gonna have to kind of approve a weight load, and I don't really, prefer not to have to mess with the gym floor. I don't know what they're designed at. I don't know if he would know that, so I'd want to run any of that by him.
Okay.
Boom lift is probably, I think we can rent one for a week for like $800. So, it shouldn't be an astronomical number, but.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So we're making progress, but we don't quite have everything that we need to make a decision. This project is one that would most likely need to be done with no students in the building, or no students in the gym. So it's probably better if it's no students in the building. And Rusty's team doesn't have the time to be able to do this themselves with all the other things they have going on. So it would have to be a cost to have outside labor doing that. So I don't know if there's any other questions that you have right now, but it seems like I need to continue to collect information from Scott. I don't know if Picture Perfect would be willing to install somebody else's items. I kind of doubt it. But I think it's what you've asked me to do, to try to research that as much as possible. So.
Good progress to me.
Okay. Okay.
You guys need me for anything
Tractor might
else?
be
Because
pretty
I
soon.
have some cool things I need to work on tonight.
Any questions about the tractor before Rusty goes? Okay.
Good evening.
Okay, up next is new business. Approval of authorized personnel to initiate deposits, withdrawals, receive statements, have online access, and one person authorizing transfers for the Heartland Bank and Trust investment account.
That's just us getting all set with Kara Wallace being on our accounts properly.
So I need a motion and a second to approve Dr. Hillary Stanifer and Kara Wallace as authorized personnel to initiate deposits, withdrawals, receive statements, have online access, and one person authorizing transfers for the Heartland Bank and Trust investment account number 4181 of Blue Ridge CUSD IMA for Blue Ridge CUSD number 18 as presented. Come on, someone, I read all that. Jonathan? Kenna? You could just, yeah. Yeah, we have enough here for that, so.
Jane?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, up next is discuss for approval letting bids for district milk.
If we would like the children to be able to drink milk next year, we need to go out for bids, please.
Sig, any comments?
Strawberry,
Motion and a
chocolate?
second to approve letting bids for district milk products supplied to Blue Ridge Community Unit School District number 18 for the 2024-2025 school term as presented. Sig? Jason? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Up next is the Press 114 first reading.
Okay, so no action taken this month, just taking a look through all the new policies that are there. And there was mean, there's probably, 20 policies in there? Nothing too extraordinary in there. I've taken many notes. You can see on the corner of each policy my notes to myself with action that I need to do to make sure that we're in alignment. A lot of this is making sure that we have things properly posted on the website, in the handbooks, in the training logs that we do. It's quite a bit of work to get that done, but not a substantial change in any of the policies there. And so we'll come back next month for your approval.
Any questions? Okay, up next is proposed budget amendment.
Okay, so a school district is charged with amending a budget when any of your 9 funds will have more expenditures than what we originally approved in the September version of the budget. And so we have some changes that we need to make. I'll just go real quickly by each fund. In Fund 10, we are decreasing our expenditures. That's a good thing. As we say, we always underestimate our revenue and overestimate our expenditures when we're doing our budgeting for this very purpose. We don't want to have to amend if we don't have to, but in Fund 10, we're doing fine there, so we're recommending that we decrease that budgeted expenditure amount by about $125,000. In Fund 20, we're asking to increase by $4. We're pretty good on what we spent going in and out of Fund 20. No changes to Fund 30 or 40 expenditures. Fund 50, we're asking to increase that by $356,000. The reason for that most likely is from, we're increasing by $3,062. I think I said that wrong first. We did add Kara Wallace's position. We did add a paraprofessional at BRIJHS, and those are both IMRF positions, so that impacted our estimations in Fund 50. In Fund 60, that's our capital projects. This is the main reason why we're amending the budget. We talked last month about the track and field project having the survey work done earlier than anticipated. And so that meant we had to put money into capital projects and we had to spend out of capital projects. So we need to increase that budgeted amount by $56,300. It was all the way as low as $12,000 because we didn't have any reason to believe we had some capital projects planned to be paid for during FY24. And that changed. Fund 70, that's working cash, and that's where the money was abated from to go into capital projects. So of course we have to increase that fund. You did that last month by $61,000. So that budgeted expenditure amount increased. The money actually came out of working cash, so we could go spend it from Fund 60. And let's see, Fund 80, that increased by $11,000. Just insurance premiums are in there, but we also pay some salaries for some people who do supervision, myself included, out of that, and we needed to have a little bit more wiggle room in there. And then Fund 90, really, when we're doing this in September of 23, we have no idea exactly how many of our HLS projects would be completed and paid for in FY24, so we guessed pretty close, but we do need to increase by about $91,000. We'll have our chiller bill that will come and be paid before this fiscal year is over. So this is just a draft. It's a tentative amended budget. And if you remember what happens with a budget, you have it sitting on the table, so to speak, meaning available in the unit office if anybody would like to come and read all these pages of numbers. They're able to do that for 30 days. That's why we have an early May meeting, so we make sure that we have 30 days between the May meeting for it to sit on the table before the June meeting where you're asked to approve this. We will also have to have a hearing for the amended budget in June, so that'll cause us to start a little bit before 7 o'clock. Any questions?
If there's no questions or comments, I need a motion and a second to approve the resolution to place the tentative amended budget for 2023-2024 on display in the Office of the Superintendent, District Office, 411 North John Street, Farmer City, for 30 days for review by the public. Kenna? Jonathan? Yes. Up next is approval of district tractor replacement.
Okay, so we have a very old tractor from the 1970s, and we are spending more money to rehab it repeatedly. There's a lot of things that can be done, as you see in your packet, with having a functioning tractor. So we do have a bid from Central Illinois Ag. It would be a $30,900 tractor. They're going to actually give us $10,000 on a trade-in. Actually, $10,400 on the trade-in of the John Deere, which is kind of unheard of. So our cost would be $21,400. And I know that Rusty has spoken to multiple people on the committee about this, and I do believe that we had a couple other estimates when he was starting that search. So you can see other comparable prices in there. So this is a good deal that we'd want to be able to jump on.
It definitely feels like very gracious that they're offering that much for that tractor when you see the photos, and maybe it's because they want to display it as a vintage. I don't know. It's
Could
so
be.
bad. Like, oh, why are they giving us that much money for that? Any comments by anyone on the Operations and Maintenance Committee?
Like it'd be a valuable tool to have. I mean, we had one in the past. It hasn't worked for a while. It's been sitting and rusting and leaking all over the bus barn. And the new tractor, I mean, yeah, he price shopped around. I'm clear up to Minnesota, and we're talking comparable prices, similar, like the same tractor, but similar use. I mean, and it's right here. So that's, I think it's awesome. And they can do all the warranty work, which is also awesome. So no, I think it's a good move.
Pallets of paper that we get in the summertime, it's an enormous amount of paper that the district goes through. We'll be able to move the pallet instead of move all the boxes and put them back on a pallet. That's huge.
I asked Rusty about that. It'll do it. He said it'll do it. I was like,
Yeah.
He's going to have to get some weights for the rear end.
Yeah.
But he said it should be able to handle that capacity.
And then spreading the mulch over at the playground every summer. A lot of jobs that will eliminate some other manpower things.
Okay. If there are no other comments, I need a motion and a second to approve the purchase of a 2022 Farmall tractor and the trade-in of the district's John Deere tractor for the Blue Ridge CUSD number 18 as presented. Jason, Sig.
Yes.
Yes. Up next is consideration of letting bids for BRHS Secure Entry Project.
Okay, so you have some plans in your packet, kind of blown up huge like, sorry about that. But then you have a paper packet in front of you. So our architect, IGW, worked with GHR, who's our engineering firm. We just got the information from GHR, so what you have in your hand tonight is the most updated copy. So the basic idea is, in our HLS survey, 10-year survey, we were able to add in money for a secure entry. This building is actually the only building in the district that's not set up for a double buzz-in, basically, is what we call the secure entry. So we wanted to do that both at the unit office entry and then also here under the portico. So what this is talking about the unit north entry, making that a double doorbell. So if you've been in the unit office, right where we have the big bus map in front of Christy on her right-hand side, that's where we would come in from the outside, and Christy would kind of be behind a wall. You'd have to go through a door to get into either Christy's office or my office. So that's the first stage that we have them secured in that area, and then if she gives permission, they would be buzzed out of the unit office to go down to the high school. Or if they finish their business, they would go out the new door. Then here behind us, which is not something that the architect's going to be working on, this is something that our own tech team is going to be working on, taking our main entrance here tucked away in the corner and putting it back in the portico where it really belongs, having that be a double entry right there. So we can use the technology to get into the first door, and then we'll have some kind of a mechanism there where a driver's license or an ID would go in. They'll do a quick check, and once that's passed, then something would release the door so they can press the button and go in the next. So Looking at doing that in 2 places, so we actually have a unit office double entry, and we'll have a high school double entry. Looking at doing that work this summer, so if we go out for bids now, there's a chance that we could get that done during the month of July.
I have a question. If we're going to add the double entry there, is it necessary to upgrade a set of those doors into higher rated security doors like we have in the other buildings? Because most of those entrances, including like the unit office, it's a high strength security door. Do we need to have that?
It's a good
factored
question.
in?
That's something I can talk to Scott about. Yeah.
Yeah, your inside doors are generally where you want that higher strength.
Yeah, let them in the outside, but then hold them there and not let them in till, yeah. Okay, I'll make note of that. Correct. Well, in the morning when, we're still going to staff in the morning when the kids are coming in. We have somebody here and we have somebody in the back when kids are coming in the morning, so they're watching that big stream of traffic coming in. Once we start the school day, then things are shut down. We don't have adults standing there, but somebody would come into that outside door, get in the vestibule, do the security piece, and then they could either it would be unlocked and they could push a button and come in, or they might have to have communication with somebody in the office before they could come in. Well, through cameras, they can watch what's going on here. Yeah. Right. Yeah, because of how this building was configured and how they made those decisions a long time ago. To be honest, though, I don't know that Christy always gets to, I don't think she gets to see a face in person. It's really over the iPad now that we're using. And now you can actually see well on the iPads who's standing out there. Before, when we were doing it on, what was it, on the computers before, or a little screen that we had, it was hard to tell who that person was. But with the angle, she really can't see their face, but on the screen, on the iPad screen, she can see them clearly.
The idea with the unmanned entry up here, if anything looks suspicious or something comes back on the ID, they can walk around and do the, in-person walk-in spot on the north end of the building.
Yeah, they could do
Okay.
that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the only thing I think is like Jonathan, I know, and this is several years back, but I know when everyone would come in those main doors to the high school, the kids knew a way to get that door open. Like, it was not very secure at all. And then it felt like then they moved it to the other doors. It was that first set of doors. They weren't as secure in the past. So I don't know if that would definitely be something if we're going to use those more again to say, hey, making sure that they are truly secure and that someone can't just like go in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If there are no further questions, I need a motion and a second to approve the letting of bids for the secure entry project at BRHS for Blue Ridge CUSD number 18 as presented. Sid? Jonathan? Yes. Okay. And then I need a motion and a second to move from open session to closed session for the purpose of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the school, or collective negotiation matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees of the district at 7:58. Sig and Jonathan.
Yes.
Yes.